Hello, my floss tube friends. How are you, my stitchy soulmates? So we are in a new location and I'm back. I did not die. I know it's been quite a while, I think before Halloween when I made my last floss tube update. And I'm pretty sure I said something adorable like, I'm gonna try to film every 2 weeks. You know how they say you make plans and God laughs? He must have been rolling on the floor. I mean, absolutely just in tears. So we had the winter of illness. It was like everything you could get, we got, the kids got, all of us got. We went through the pink eye, the RSV, sinus infections, ear infections, stomach flu, that's always a fun one. Something RSV-esque that was just some other kind of cold. It was a mess. And for better or for worse, nobody had it at the same time. So it's a lot easier when I'm not sick at the same time the kids are sick, or my husband and I aren't sick at the same time, or all these different things. So it was a blessing that it was somewhat spread out and we seemed to kind of go in order and everybody got everything. But man, it made for a long winter. So I'm sorry I haven't been back. I have been wanting to be back for a long time. Most of my stitchy plans did not happen for the end of the year, just because, you know, life and being sick and momming and all the stuff. So 2024 is a new year. This is my reset. For those of you who watched my original WIP Parade, you know that I was trying to figure out all the things, including the camera. My whips were way far away. You couldn't see them really well. So I am doing this as my 2024 plans and WIP Parade. Oh, I'm sorry. I keep hitting the, I'm in a new spot so you can see my pretty design board for my quilts instead of the disaster that is my hobby room. But I've got the thing on a table, so I'm occasionally bumping the table. I will try very hard not to do that. I also have Tigger in my stitching chair. I'll try to insert a picture of him because a few folks have asked what he looks like. He's snoring away, so hopefully he doesn't snore too loud. And I've got a stack of cross stitch for you. I will say a couple things. One, I am only planning the first quarter of this year. I have done annual plans before and it kind of never works for me personally because things happen. My desires change, needlework market happens, new patterns come out, new events come up. So I like to give myself the flexibility to try a plan for a set period of time, and usually 3 months is good, and then have the ability to plan for the next quarter, having learned what I liked and disliked about my plan. In addition, I like planning a lot. To me, I know it's like its own hobby. So having the ability to do that 4 times a year is really fun for me, and it's something I get to look forward to. That said, my plan for the quarter includes cross stitch, knitting, and quilting. I do not plan my reading. It tends to be the thing that I do in those tiny pockets of time or when I'm too tired to do things like count or read a pattern. Several folks made comments on my original WIP Parade when I mentioned that I love reading fiction and sci-fi, usually spicy fiction and sci-fi, and we're excited for some book reviews. I will do a book review. I'm trying to figure out how to do a recap for all of last year, but I think I read over 100 books. I'm still tallying it up. So I might have to abbreviate that a bit. Anyway, but what I will be doing is this is going to be specifically my 2024 WIPs and plans for cross stitch. I will make a second video for my knitting and a third one for my quilting. Today is a Monday, so I'm hoping Tuesday I can get all the knitting stuff prepped. It takes forever to prep these videos so that I can film on Wednesday, and then Thursday I can prep all the quilting stuff so I can film on Friday. That's my goal, with a reading summary of some kind coming up. Anyway, so to start off, I'm going to kind of walk you through my plans, and that will lead us through the WIP piles. Oh, did you see my shirt? That's what I do. I cross stitch and I know things. I mean, how perfect, right? So I figured this was the day to wear it. Forgive me, I'm already warm. I do have my overhead light on. I do not have my ring light on because it's helpful, but it also creates this huge glare. So feel free to leave a comment with your thoughts if you think it would be better with the ring light on, but I'm trying to avoid all glares. So the first thing I'll say about my plans, I am doing WIP Go. I'm doing 2 WIP Go boards. I am doing one for cross stitch and one for knitting. The knitting one I'll tell you about in my knitting video. The cross stitch one is all, I don't think I have a single new start. I don't. Is all current WIPs and 1 free space. So the 13th, the middle one, is my free space. This is what it looks like. Dun, 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 dun. I just do it on my computer. I think that's all going to be backwards for you, possibly. I can never tell when I'm filming this. Is that backwards? I don't know. But basically, I have 25 WIPs on here with 2 days apiece. Everything gets 2 days apiece. That could be 30 seconds on one day and 3 hours on another day. It gets 2 days apiece. I have tried counting stitches. I hate it. I've tried going by time block, but then sometimes life happens. I'm just going 2 days. I can find 2 days each month to get these done. So 2 days, if I finish a project before it's called, I can either sub in a project or I can do a new start, whatever I feel like. It's basically a free space. My free space is just that. I can do whatever I want. And like I said, I don't have any new starts on here, but I do have I said 26 spots. That's wrong. 25. I'm sorry. I can't count apparently. On the 25th spot, because the 25th is the day of Christmas, as you know, I have Gift of Peace, which is a restart. I had started it and somewhere, somehow, I don't know what I was doing, but I made some very serious errors and I had only a small start, and I also decided I didn't like the fabric, so I kind of squashed that whole thing. But I'd really love to restart it, so that is on the plan. So that's my WIP Go. Called for this month was Immortal and a knitter sampler. I cheated a little because I looked at WIP Go and did my WIP Go board on the 2nd of January because I was behind. So I'd already started a knitter sampler. So I snuck that into one of my current WIP Go's. But that's okay. It's our hobby. We can do whatever we want. So I will show you those soon. But in general, what I am doing, where's my cheat sheet? Here's my cheat sheet. So what I am doing is I have a weekly schedule, I guess I would say, of topics. So let me try to explain that better. I don't know if topics is the right way. Basically, every Monday for me is Mira Monday. I will stitch a Mirabilia every Monday. Every Tuesday I call Twisted Tuesday and I knit. I plan a knitting project on Tuesday. Could I also stitch on Tuesday? Possibly. What I will usually do is leave the Mira in the hoop or on the bars so that if I feel like stitching on Tuesday as well, I can get a little extra on that Mira from the Monday. So I'll show you my Mira Monday pile. On Wednesdays, I do a Wild Wednesday. I can do whatever I want. I can start something new. I can work on whatever project I feel like. I can make up time on projects where maybe I had them planned and I missed it for whatever reason. I can do nothing that day. I can just have a hobby break. I can quilt, knit, stitch, sew, whatever. Thursdays are Tangled Thursdays. No, Tangled Tuesdays, Twisted Thursdays, something like that. I don't know. I made them fun just for me. But again, Thursdays I knit. Fridays are Festive Fridays. So I have a list of projects, current WIPs, that are festive, meaning they are for some kind of holiday. So that could be Easter, Christmas, 4th of July, Halloween, Thanksgiving, but it is a festive piece. So I do Festive Fridays because I have quite a few of those. Then on Saturdays, I am doing Sal Saturdays. I believe at last count, I had 13 unfinished Sals. In my lifespan as a stitcher, I have finished that many Sals. So I'm trying to give it a focus. And then Sundays I sew. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through the WIPs by category for each of the days. So we will start with Mira Mondays. Sorry for the shake. I just got to shimmy my piles. And what I'll do with this is there's 5 Mirabilias in this list. I'll just rotate. So most months have 4 Mondays. I will not necessarily have every single one in every month. I could potentially plug them in for other projects, but I may not. Now, a couple of these, most of my projects also, none of the projects have been washed or ironed. You get what you get. Also, I have most of the cover pages, but some I don't. So I will put in, I've sort of figured out how to put in the picture. So I will put a picture for you if I don't have a cover picture. Oh, and I got some, hold on. Sorry about that. Wouldn't be a hot mess if I didn't forget something. Do you have your jewels on, by the way? Sparkle plenty, my friends. Get your blingies. I'm in sweats. Actually, I'm in jeans because I have a class to go to today. Normally I'd be in sweatpants, but I'm in jeans, and for me, that's like getting dressed up for tea with the queen, because you know me well enough at this point to know, like, your girl's in sweatpants or leggings. Jeans are like, if I must. Anyway, not relevant. I had to go get my board so you could see everything nicely though. So there will be some zipping and unzipping and stuffing and all the things, but we're gonna jump into it because I gotta go pick up the kids. So the first is my beautiful Princess Eliana. Look at her, she's so gorgeous. I started this with one of my dear Stitchy friends. I think she's finished it. I also got smart and did cards like I had in my knitting, because that was so much easier when I was going through my knitting WIP parade. But this is obviously a Mirabilia. It is on a 28 count linen mystery fabric. Unfortunately, I have a lot of those. When I started learning and trying out stitching on even weave and linen, I did a lot of buying kind of random lots of fabric on eBay because it was more affordable, and I was trying it out and seeing what I liked. So I don't know a lot of these. I will tell you if I do know, but this is 2/2 on with the called for DMC. I am 50% sure it goes this way. And I've actually made quite a bit of progress from the last time you saw it, which could have been in the WIP parade where you couldn't see things really well, but this is where I'm at. So hopefully you will see a lot more progress on this and all the Miras. And this one was started, this was my new start on January 1st of 2022. It has not gotten much love since then. Sorry. Sorry, my dear Mira. Okay, this one is my oldest Mirabilia. Say that 4 times fast. And it's possibly my oldest project, or very close to my oldest project. And I love her. I do, I love her. This is Red Lady Pirate. She's all sass and bling, and I love it. And I want to be her bestie. I also want this giant red, fuzzy, glamorous cape thing she's wearing. Unrelated. All right, where's my jazzy little card? Here it is. So I do not know when I started her, but she is on a 28 count Zweigart even weave. I could not figure out the colorway. I don't have the tag anymore, but it was something that had to do with the ocean, which was part of the reason I bought it. It was like coastal or Caribbean or something. If I can ever figure it out, I will tell you in my regular updates, but I just could not figure it out to save my soul. This is 2/2 with the called for DMC. And let's see her, she's so pretty. I have, at least for me, I have a decent amount done on her. I am quite proud of it. So here's this is the bodice of her dress coming down to her beautiful skirt, and we're getting into that sassy red thing and her bag of jewels. Very excited about that. All right. Next is Fairy Moon. And she looks like that. Let me see if I can get it to focus better. There you go. I am doing my forward-facing camera, which is apparently not as high resolution, but then I can see what I'm showing you instead of guessing. So we're gonna give it a whirl. But this is on 20 count raw opalescent linen by Zweigart. It's 2/2 with the called for DMC, but there's a caveat. I'm gonna actually leave that picture out. So I got a big old floss ball. Where'd you go, babe? Hold on, she's missing. Here you are. Okay. I started in the middle, which had me starting on her purple shawl, sash thingy. And I apologize because there's a hanging thread here. I'll try to get it out of the way. Oh, you can see the sparkle. Oh, I love a good sparkle. Okay, so here's what I have done. Okay, lot to go. That's this thingy right here. I love this piece. I'm not like a big fairy person. I'm not super into fairies. Yeah, I just told you I read like 100 fantasy books, but I'm not into stitching fairies. So I'm thinking about taking the wings out, which I could do fairly easily. However, it's one of the few bits of color in here because her dress really is like gray and tan. And I think all the little speckles on there are all beads, I think. I have to look at the pattern again. But I am considering dropping the wings and converting the dress. When I say converting, what I mean is I am going to go online to some of the Mirabilia conversion Facebook pages where some incredibly talented stitchers have converted this and are generously sharing their conversion. I will not be converting this myself because I would never figure it out. I would have an absolute nervous breakdown trying to do it. So I love this piece, but I do think I want to take out the wings. And I just, for me, I mean, I like color and sparkle. I want color and sparkle. So I'm going to figure out how to get a little more color in this and make it a little bit different. I know a lot of people have stitched it and it's a beautiful piece as it is, as it's designed. It's just personalizing it to me would make it that much more appealing. And you know, this is our hobby. So making it the most enjoyable for you to stitch, I don't think is ever a bad thing. Now, I will apologize. So this is Spring Queen. I do not have the cover picture for her. I will insert it here. Hopefully I don't have issues figuring that out. Being the brilliant individual that I am, I went through every project bag, and if I did not have a cover picture, I downloaded it on my phone, which I'm recording on. So I don't know how I thought I was going to show you these pictures, but I have them. So we'll get them on there. Figure it out. Sarah over at Sarah the Stitchin' Mommy, who is delightful. Like if you're not watching her, you need to stop and go watch her. I had been kind of put out a cry for help because I was trying to figure out how to edit an iMovie on a PC. And she had told me about this program called Shotcut that's free. And she even sent me, because she's the nicest human ever, a tutorial, like a little 15-minute, here is how she does a couple key things, including putting in photos. So thank you, Sarah. If you're watching this, you saved me. Anyway, so I'm not going to show you the back box because there's nothing on it, but this is Spring Queen. Hopefully you're seeing it up yonder. It is stitched on 32 count Belfast by the Crafty Kitten, and this is the December 2018 limited edition Fabric of the Month colorway. That was a mouthful. And I am doing it 2/2 with the called for DMC. And this is Spring Queen, and I do not know which way this goes. I think it goes this way. Not a huge start. And this is also affectionately known to me as Death by Yellow. It uses, I think, 4 or 5 full skeins of this one yellow. So when I try to work on it from now on, I'm going to try to do one length of that yellow, then another color, one length of that yellow, and always just make sure I'm plugging away on that yellow. I will tell you about some additional plans at the end on the calendar and my new start plans, but I want to just get through sort of like the set standard plans that I have for the next 3 months that will be consistent to try to make this a little easier to follow. Did I tell you I'm doing that 2/2 with the call for DMC? Possibly, maybe not. This is my beautiful and enchanting and oh so special Lady of the Flag. I'm sure you've seen her 1,000 times. I adore her. I'm so grateful. I spent more on this pattern than I've spent on any pattern I've ever purchased. However, I found it for a reasonable price for this pattern. And I am so grateful because I can't afford $500 on a pattern. And I am from New York. I don't know what I've mentioned before, but I am originally from upstate New York. My family lived in Long Island. I've been to New York City I don't know how many times. I dreamed of growing up and living in downtown Manhattan. My grandfather worked in the Twin Towers for IBM many, many, many decades ago. But this just holds an extra special place in my heart. And when I finish this, I will be doing a giveaway for my subscribers. So if you might be interested in this, I've got a ways to go, but you have to be a subscriber for the giveaway whenever I get done with this. So please go ahead and subscribe if you think you might like to stitch this or at least try to get in the drawing for this. Like I said, I got a ways to go, but I love this piece and I know how hard it is to get and I know how special it is to people. And because of that, while I could sell it for an obscene amount of money, I'd rather give it to someone who maybe can't spend an obscene amount of money on these. And I will, then of course hope that they maybe pass it on when they're done. But I think it's more special and important to me to pass it on to another stitcher. So this is what I have. Some of the flag, oops, sorry about the wiggling. Some of the flag and her dress. And I do just love it. I love it, love it, love it. And it's so pretty. And this is the Primitive Hair. I didn't tell you. This is 30 count linen by the Primitive Hair in their Constitution, I guess I'd call it pattern, not really colorway. And I'm doing it 2/2 with the called for DMC. And unfortunately, I have no idea when I started it. I was very bad up until the very recent past at keeping track of starts. So sadly, I don't know when a lot of these things were started, but I am now much better about tracking those starts. So those are my 5 Mira Monday pieces. Then Tuesday, Thursday is knitting. I'll show you that in my knitting one. Wednesday is Wild Wednesday. I could do anything I want. So that brings us to Friday, which is my festive Fridays. Where's that pile? Here it is. Look at me going. It's almost like I'm organized. Now, a lot of these may not have cover pages, but again, I will insert what I do not have. This one is Sir Thomas. I adore this piece. I'm obsessed with this piece. We had a wonderful LNS in Rock Hill, North Carolina, that was a reasonable drive for me, that is closed down now, and they would give you a birthday discount on a project. So I kitted this up. It was not inexpensive, and I love it. So I need to get on it. It is from Glendon Place. It is on a 28 count mystery linen. I bought this in the store and promptly lost the tag. I am using the called for floss, which is a mix of DMC and somewhere between 10 and 15 Rainbow Gallery. All I could think of was ribbon floss. I was like, that's not it at all. Rainbow Gallery. And I believe it goes that way. And I have a very small start just in some of the DMC colors because so much of it is Rainbow Gallery and it was on back order. And I now have its very chunky, gorgeous, sparkly pack of Rainbow Gallery floss that I want to break into. So I'm excited to give that some love. And I do know that I started this in April of 2021. And it has not seen much love since then, and I don't know why. Life just happens. But I want to give it some priority. I will say that is by far my largest Festive Friday piece, and will likely be in that grouping for a long time. Okay, the next one is the Blue Topaz Ornament by Mill Hill. I'm stitching this with the provided, I got it as a kit with the provided DMC and the provided perforated paper. However, I stopped because I miscounted and I used the wrong color. I was trying to do it on an airplane. I forgot my light and my reading glasses, and the all around was just a bad idea. So this is what it looks like, but these are all the wrong color, which I would have just left, but they're also one row too high. And so I was not excited about the idea of frogging all of this on perforated paper and just kind of put it in the bag and forgot about it. I need to just get it done. It will look like that. It's one of the Christmas jewels ornaments, and it's really pretty. So I need to just buck up, frog that out, and get that off my WIP list. Be able to enjoy it. And of course start a new one, because you couldn't just finish things and pare down your WIP list. I don't know what kind of weirdos do that. Just kidding. I mean, for me, I'm not doing that. But if you do that, I applaud you, because you have way more self-control than I do. Okay, this is Spring Blessings by Tiny Modernist. I will insert a picture because I intelligently put it on my phone. This is being stitched on 32 count Jobelin in the colorway Bittersweet, but I do not remember the company that makes this. I'm blanking, but I think I have it on something else. Something else is on this. So maybe I wrote it down on that, but I can't find the tag. It is 2/2 with the called for DMC. This is what I have. This beautiful bunny. The shading is just terrific. Sorry about this is my serger threads. However, I was looking at this and the pattern, this is the center and there's all kinds of motifs around. I'm absolutely in love with this center motif and all the shading and the flowers and the like basket weave cart thing. I'm not as crazy about the motifs around it. So I think what I might actually do is just do this center motif. I'm not even sure yet if I'm going to do the border. I might, just to give it like a finishing edge, but I might just do this and do it into a pillow finish or some kind of small, because I love the center, but I don't want to feel like I'm slogging through the rest of it when I don't necessarily love that as much as this. So I could potentially have a decently quick finish on that if I keep to my plan. It's a big if. Okay. This is called Sugar Skull with Flowers. I only have that black and white picture. It is from the Halloween 2016 Just Cross Stitch magazine. If I can find a color picture of it, I couldn't find one on the internet, but if I can find the magazine, I will put in the color picture. However, I will say you can kind of get the gist, but I started it when I was traveling and I used whatever colors I had. So my colors don't necessarily really match. I just picked a whole bunch of vibrant colors. But I am doing this on a piece of 28 count Mystery Murano in something pretty. I don't know what this is. It's a nice colorway. I think it goes this way, I think. But I've just got some of the roses or the beautiful flowers. Like I said, just kind of picking bright colors. This is a very dense Murano, and I no longer stitch on Murano. So it gets a little hard on my hands. I mentioned before I have Raynaud's, and so I don't always have great feeling in my hands. I also have cataracts in my eyes. Having an autoimmune disorder is super fun. So I need reading glasses, and the fibers are so puffed up in Murano and so like bulky, I guess I would say, that it's really hard to see the holes. So this doesn't have a ton of stitching in it, but I kind of shy away from it a little bit. Not enough to UFO it. I will get it done. But it's in the festive Friday is one of my Halloween pieces, or Day of the Dead piece, or whatever you want to call it. This is another Halloween-y piece. Also in black and white because I cannot find this magazine, but if I can and I locate it, I will put it in a color picture. Oh, I didn't tell you who the last one was by. I'm sorry. I've been bad about that. Let's see. Who did I show you? So the Sugar Skull was by Medina Originals. Spring Blessing, I told you, was Tiny Modernist. Sir Thomas was Glendon Place, and Blue Topaz Ornament was Mill Hill. We were doing Mirror Mondays, so they were all Mirabilia, and I didn't tell you. But this is the Black Cat Ornament by Tania Santarelli of Little Violet from Just Cross Stitch, October 2016. Not the Halloween edition, just the October edition. And this is my only piece that I am stitching 1/1 on a mystery 28 count even weave using the called for DMC. No idea when I started this, but I have this whopping black blob. But it's really not a big piece. I just need to get to it. I get distracted by all the shiny things. So many shiny things. All right, our second to last Festive Friday WIP is called Snow in Love. This is from a magazine. I cannot figure out, I'm 99% sure it's from a Just Cross Stitch. But it was printed in 2016. I don't know what magazine for sure, but I'm pretty sure it was a Just Cross Stitch. It is by Alice Oken Needle Art Designs. It's called Snow in Love, but I cannot find a cover picture. The only image I have is the pattern. So I will keep looking, and hopefully I can find that magazine in my hoard of magazines. But it is on a 32 count mystery even weave. I am doing it 2/2 with the called for DMC, and you can get a pretty good idea of it from what I have stitched. So we have I call it Mr. and Mrs. Snowman, and they've got gloves and scarves, and I need to do his sweater, and then I need to do their eyes because they look a little creepy, and some back stitch. But pretty much their bodies end here, and they're holding a little sign that says Snow in Love. So I need to do the sign that's here with the Snow in Love, finish a little bit of the gloves, finish his orange jumper, and give him eyeballs. And so that's pretty quick. And this is on a really pretty light pink fabric. I wish I knew what it was because I would get more. But again, this is from one of those lots of random miscellaneous leftover bits of people's stuff. So a lot of these Festive Friday pieces really aren't very large, aside from Sir Thomas, obviously, and really should not take me very long to finish. This is in color save mode, so the color's not terrific, but this is my last Festive Friday, and this is Spellville by Barbara Anna. This is what it'll look like completed. I did change, I forget what it calls for. I think it was DMCs. I did change them to some, where'd my little sheet go? I think it's Victorian motto. Yes, so this is on a 32 count antique ivory mystery linen, 2/2 with Victorian motto. I'm using Coral Rose for the orange, Slate Roof for the black, and Glowing Marigold for the yellow. This was started at some point in 2020. You will notice if you watched any of my WIP parades that The substantial amount of house that I had done on top of the key is no longer there. I had started, you just have a door right now. I had done a good bit of the orange house that sits on top of the key, and it was all wrong, and it was wrong in a way I could not fudge. And so I had to take it out, and then I was just grumpy, so I went and did something else. I think I did some of this and some of this since it was shown in my last WIP parade. But I'm really hoping to get some good progress on this. I want this done by Halloween. This has been since 2020. It just needs to get done. So I can put it out on my shelf. All right, so those are the festive Fridays. One caveat, well, 1.5 caveats. 2 of the pieces that are festive Friday WIPs will also be Sal Saturday WIPs. Are in that bucket, so they can get pulled for both, because they're both really ones I want to finish. The first being Spellville that you just saw, because that was a Sal and it's a Halloween piece. The second is the Spring Blessings, which was the bunny you saw. That, when I started it, was a Sal. A lot of these are now just available as charts, but that was a Sal when I started it, and it's an Easter piece. So it's in Festive Fridays and Sal Saturdays, which is what I'm going to show you next, but you won't see those because you already saw them. You don't need to see them again. You're smart, you know things. Okay, I need to check the time. What is it? Ooh, is that right? That can't be right. I think that clock is wrong. Either that clock is wrong or I'm super late to pick up my kids. What is this? Okay, this is Swans and Shears. This is another one that I will insert a picture of. This is by Tempting Tangles. I am doing it on a 28 count Mystery Murano. It is 2/2 with the called for DMC for now. So I have this corner started, and I really love, I feel like I could get you like the light shifted. Maybe you can see it better like that, a little bit. I love these like raspberry purples. It's showing up kind of brown, but I love these raspberry purples that are on here. Let me see if this makes it any better. Is that better? Kind of blinded, but you can see better. So these raspberry purples and lavenders and teals. And it's like a green and pink and a little bit of brown fabric. It's kind of washing things out though, so we'll see. However, as you saw in the cover picture, a lot of the design is in like a tan and brownish green, kind of like a military sort of barfy green that I'm not wild about with all these beautiful colors. And I don't want to have these beautiful jewel tones and then this like weird barfy brown color. So I'm going to, I stopped stitching on that at the time because I didn't like where it was going. And then I just never picked the Sal back up. So I'm going to finish it and I love the piece. I just need to replace 1 or 2 of the DMCs with something I like much better. Okay. Next up is Seize the Day. I will also insert a cover picture for this. This is Caterpillar Cross Stitch. It is on a 16 count Mystery Ada, 2/2 with the called for DMC. Oops, sorry, got hanging stuff on here. Give me just a second. Again, I wish I knew what this fabric was because it's really pretty. I am yay far. This one I thought was really cute, but I didn't know what I was going to do with it. I don't necessarily feel an urgency to finish things and put them on my wall like a progress stitcher, but I kind of slowed down on this one because I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. But now I have kids and my son loves the colors, and I do a beach themed, I do beach themed decorations in like mid-July and August. So this will go really well with that. So now that I feel like I have a purpose for it, I'm a little bit reinvigorated to finish it. So, all right. And that is, I think I told you with the called for DMC, if I don't give you a start date, it's because I don't know it. And this one, again, I have no idea when I started it. I think I started that one whenever the Sal started, But a lot of these I looked, and because the sale is over, it doesn't say anymore when the sale was. It's just a full chart. This one, I can show you the majority of the cover picture. And then if I have the full one, I'll put it in here. But this is Let's Go on an Adventure. And it is by Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. I am doing this on a 28 count cast shell linen by Picture This Plus in Ale, which I believe is what it called for, with the called for DMC and the single fancy floss, which is what the letters are in. Sorry, I'm just trying to fold it up for you. So what happened with this was my first foray ever away from Ada. And I freaked out because I used this linen. It's a little bit looser weave. It was my first time using fancy floss as well. And so I was like really stress stitching it. I didn't think I was doing it right. I thought you could see too much of my thread. I did a great job. Not to like pat myself on the back, but I did. I just didn't know what I was doing. I wasn't comfortable and confident with fancy floss or with linen. This is showing up more green. It's a darker kind of dirty brown, but if I turn on the ring light again, it's just going to wash it out more. So I'm still figuring out my lighting. But all I have is the S Go on A. So this one has almost no progress. And it's just been sort of in the naughty corner just because it freaked me out for a little bit. And now I'm like, this is no big deal. What was wrong with me? But for a long time, I decided to focus on the next piece I'll show you, which is National Parks by Frosted Pumpkin, because I'd gotten farther with that. I, again, started it during the sale, whenever that was. And I don't know when I started Let's Go on an Adventure, but it's been a while. But this is National Parks. This was for the 100th birthday of the U.S. National Parks. Hopefully you can see that okay. And I have a decent amount done on this. So what I had done was, for a while, I just said, you know what, I have a lot more done on that than the other one. I'll just focus on this so I can get more done. This is on a 32 count Belfast in an unknown colorway. I am 99% sure this is a Picture This Plus colorway, but I don't know which one. I'm sorry, it's very wrinkly. I am doing it 2/2 on this unknown 32 count with the called for DMC. And again, I have no idea when I started it. I did not start this one right when it started, but I started it a few months after the sale started. I think they were on Hawaii and the volcano. But I have, the top is done. The top border section, I need to finish this. And then this is done except for here. So if I finish this, I'll be more than halfway. I'll be halfway done plus a little. So it would be really nice to get a finish on that in the next year or two. Trying to be reasonable and not overwhelm myself. So my New Year's resolution: more hot, less mess. I am not giving myself some sort of crazy goals like I'm going to lose 100 pounds and stitch 48 massive projects. I like to give myself a resolution that is more attainable, more hot, less mess. I want to focus on myself, mental health, physical health, hobby health, my relationship with my family, my relationship with my children. And as long as I am working toward improving, I'm on track. And I find that it's much more attainable. And I think I actually achieve more when I set a resolution like that, because I don't feel like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna fail before I even start. Anywho, speaking of things that I started and never finished, this I started with, sorry, I got so much stuff in here, with the, when the sale started. This is the Modern Folk Embroidery 2021 sale. I will insert a picture of what it looks like. It is by Modern Folk Embroidery, go figure. I did this on a 32 count Belfast by Chromatic Alchemy in the color Haboob, Haboob. I'm guessing that's how I say it. It was started in February of 2021. because I started it 3 times total. 2 times before this. First time I hated the floss. Second time I hated the fabric and the floss. So the third time was the charm. Let me try to get this. I got a needle minder right in the way. I'm gonna scooch this over. Okay, so it is it is a rich milk chocolate brown. I don't know why it looks so green there, but it is a beautiful milk chocolate brown. That's a little bit better. But it is this gorgeous mottled milk chocolate brown. It's actually darker than it's showing up there. And it's not quite as gray, but that's better than the green. And I am using a Silks For You, which is the variegated, and DMC, which is my solid pink here. Sadly, your girl lost the Silks For You tag. I tried this colorway on a whim. I'll try to like hold it up. So in the hank, it looks very red and brown. And on a whim, I tried it on this fabric because I was really frustrated with the colors I had tried prior to this. And it shows up as this like dusty purple, mauvey, raspberry deliciousness. And I was like, whoa, now we're talking. So I love this, and I'm doing it with DMC 223. I forget everything's backwards, 223. It's gorgeous. Part of the reason I got so behind was I had restarted it so many times that I was then, I think it was the end of February when I finally got going on this, and then I felt like it was hopeless for me to catch up because it was a really big stretch for me to even try to keep up with this. I'll show it to you one more time, but I put quite a few stitchy days in. My stitchy days tend to be short, and this was when I had a single child, so now I have 2. And they're worth every moment of stitchy time I give up. But I do have to sacrifice quite a bit of stitchy time to love on my little munchkins. And it just makes it hard. It's such a beautiful, beautiful pattern. I'm dreaming of the day I can put this on my wall and will covet it. And if the house catches on fire, I'm coming back in for this thing. But it's going to be a while. And that's okay. But what I'm trying to do is make it attainable to touch all my WIPs this year. All right, the next one is Adventure Awaits. This is Caterpillar Cross Stitch. I'm doing on an 18 count mystery Ada that I am fairly confident is actually Picture This Plus Sprite, but I do not know for sure. 2/2 with the called for DMC. No idea when I started it. I will insert a picture because I do not have one here. And here's where I'm at. This is such a cute piece. So I started this when the sale started. Had hoped to keep up, but life happens, and that's okay. It's a hobby, right? I'm not gonna let it stress me out. I'm just gonna have fun. Okay, our last Sale Saturday. I think I just said Festive Friday, but we're talking Sale Saturdays right now. Caterpillar Cross Stitch. Again, this is made to create Sal. I will insert a picture. I am using a 28 count Zweigart linen in some unknown color. And I need something behind this. Oh no. Yeah, I mean, I got this as the kit, and it is a 28 count Zweigart linen. Wait a minute, I'm trying to decipher my own notes. Nope, this is a 28 count Zweigart linen, but it is unknown colorway because I use my own fabric. Sorry for the hanging string there. Get that out of the way. I have quite a bit done on this. I got caught up because I had done the dark in here, and as you can kind of tell, something ain't right here, and I was doing this lighter blue, and I got frustrated, and then I was like in the middle of a string where I needed to take it back, and so I need to just go back and pull that out and get back on track because I really don't have too much left. No idea when I started it. I do think I started it whenever the stitch along was happening. Again, it's kind of hard to find that. All right, I am going to show you my family WIPs and explain those to you. I've only got 3, and then I got to go get my kids. So there's going to be a brief intermission. I'm going to get my kids. I'm going to do a bunch of stuff that you won't see, like feed them. And then I will show you my other WIPs that will get pulled in where. And I will show you my planned new starts for the first 3 months. So we're getting there, but we got some more. I hope you got some coffee and something cozy. All right, so this is Mother's Bliss by Mirabilia. Dun, da, da, da. I started this for my youngest son. And so these are my family WIPs. Let me take a step back. What I am doing is essentially, I'm copying Sarah the Stitchin' Mommy. Totally was her idea. But I am doing, for the day of the month my kids were born and the day of the month of my anniversary with my husband, I'm doing a piece. So for example, my one son was born on the 1st, my other son was born on the 11th, my anniversary was the 25th. So every month on the 1st, I will work on my eldest son's piece. On the 11th, my youngest son's piece, and on the 25th, the piece I'm working on for my husband and I as an anniversary sampler. So I'm kind of going out of order here. Mother's Bliss will be done every month on the 11th. If I have one of the other Mira Mondays, Sal Saturdays, whatever, on the 11th, this project will take precedence. So something else will get bumped, and this will take precedence. I am doing this on a 32 count Belfast by Zweigart in platinum, which I don't think looks even remotely like platinum. It looks tan to me, but that's what it is. Where is my star? Where's my stitches? Ah, no wonder I couldn't find them. I am converting this from a blue dress to a pink dress, like a raspberry pink, and I have a whopping start. My plan is to focus on, let me get this back out. Focus on, so this white apron is actually show-through fabric. This is what's stitched. So my plan is, I think there's only 3 colors of blue, which I'm converting to 3 colors of pink. I want to outline those 3 color sections of pink, and then I can just mindlessly fill in on the 11th, or if I need like a travel project or something, I can just know where it needs to go. I don't even really need to consult the pattern, and I can just fill it in because there are a lot of stitches. So that's my plan. Oh, here are my flosses. Okay, so this is my dress conversion. So I'm using 3733 as my lightest. 3731 is my medium. And then 3803 is my dark. So these 3. I think it'll be pretty. And I started that one on 5/8 of 2022. Okay, so my eldest son's piece will get worked on the 1st of every month. It's In the Arms of the Angel by Lavender and Lace. I'm stitching on a 28 count Jobelin by Witchelt in Bittersweet Light. That's the same as the bunny from Spring Blessings. And let me get the picture out of here because otherwise you'll see some of the... This is the beautiful, beautiful piece. I may eliminate the wings if I can figure out how to kind of fill in the shoulder and a little bit of the skirt, and change the hair to brown. But I love this piece. My eldest had a very challenging entry into this world for both he and I. And so this piece speaks to me because I felt like there was an angel watching over both of us when we took him home and me home healthy and safe from the hospital. So this piece, I was just like, yep, that's the one. And I'm doing them as burst samplers, but they're really for me. I don't see them growing up and wanting these in their homes, but I'm going to want them forever. And I'm going to know how much blood, sweat, and swear words went into them. So they'll be for me, but they're burst samplers for them. So this one I'll do on the 1st of every month. I am about 10% sure it goes that way. Just a little bit. This is a really dark red. It's showing as brown, almost black, but it's a really, really dark red. So again, it's nice to just chip away. I mean, these lavender and lace and mirabilias take 40, 50 days of stitching, depending on how much time people get. But chipping away is chipping away. So this is 2/2 with the called for DMC, and it was started on 3/24 of, I don't think that's right. It says 2022, but I don't, yeah, I guess that would be right. I think I started them the same year. The last one is a current WIP-ish. This is I Will by My Big Toe. Sorry, I got the itchy nose thing. I haven't had it yet. Wonderful piece by My Big Toe. And it's all about marriage. And I want to stitch it for my husband and I for our anniversary. Not this anniversary, but some anniversary someday. However, when I originally showed it to him, he's like, no, I like the colors that it is, because I was trying to convert it. And it's in brown, like, except for these couple little blue and pink flowers, everything is brown. Granted, it uses a beautiful dark chocolate Gentle Arts brown, but one, there's only a tiny bit of variegation to this, and two, that's a lot of brown. So I am currently, let me find my little card here. Where's my cheat sheet? Where'd you go? I'm currently stitching it on 32 count mystery linen, 2/2 with the called for threads. I am going to continue stitching it on this linen, but I am going to restart it probably the 25th of this month, which is the day I will stitch this piece every month, because I just can't handle that much brown. And I started on the border, and I remember just, this was like 3 lengths of thread, and you can't even tell. Oh, that's the back. I thought it looked weird. But it is so much brown, and I just know I'm never going to finish it if all I'm stitching is brown. I also bought myself some beautiful silks from Silks For You and Mrs. Sadis for my birthday a few years ago, and I feel like this is a perfect opportunity to pull one of those out. I can find something that isn't a super feminine color, something more autumnal maybe, but I can't handle this much brown. I know me, I like color. I think we've established that. And I started this on 3/25 of 2022, trying to honor that 25th date, but I just can't. So my goal is to look through my silks. I have not yet, but to restart this using this same nice, like, basic fabric, basic linen, and restart that. Okay, so that gets us through Mirror Mondays, Festive Fridays, Sal Saturdays, and my family pieces. I will be back after I get the kids, and we will do the remaining WIPs, which I will be plugging in for certain holidays, or I will use as travel stitching. I'll explain all that. And then I will do a small segment as well on planned new starts, of which I only have a couple. All right, thank you. Okay, y'all, how are you, my stitchy soulmates? I am back. It's been about a fraction of a second for you. It is the next morning for me. I am in my pajamas. I am only lightly bedazzled. It is pouring rain. It's freezing cold. I'd hoped to come back and finish this last night, but life happens. I picked up the kids, fed the kids, changed my son. My husband took the one to swim lessons. A friend came and watched the baby. I went to a class. I didn't get home till like 9:45. And then I like swan dived into bed. So here I am. I've got the itchy nose bad. I don't know why. I've never had the itchy nose before this video, but man, my nose is itchy. I never understood till just now. Excuse me too. I have a little bit of congestion this morning. I will try very hard not to cough. But anyway, so you've seen my plans so far. You've seen my Mirror Mondays. You've seen my Festive Fridays, and you've seen my Sal Saturdays. So what I'm going to show you are the other WIPs that I have. These WIPs could be plugged in on, let's say, one of the Wild Wednesdays. I could take one of these, and every month I'm selecting a travel project. I don't have a ton of travel stitching time, but sometimes I'll have time in between errands or appointments where it doesn't make sense to go home. Sometimes, like on Thursday, I'm dropping the kids off, and then I have a yoga class, but I've got about 30 minutes in between. It doesn't make sense to go home, so I'll sit in the car and stitch. So I will show you those. They also tend to get slotted in for special occasions, holidays, maybe challenges here and there. So you will see these, you just won't see them necessarily for those specific categories. So the first one, I'm going to show you the pattern, and I'm not showing you my WIP because I'm like that close to a finish, and I'm hoping I can finish it today and it can be my finish for my next regular floss tube update, and I want you to be wowed. So I don't want to show it to you now because it'd be like a spoiler. So I am doing, our lighting's a little funky today too. So I am doing Immortal. This is by Lucy Beam Love and Stitches. This piece is fabulous. She stitched the model in Gentle Arts. I am also using Fancy Floss, but I converted to what I had because I am trying this new thing where instead of buying all the stuff, I use what I have. Weird, very weird. So that is one of my WIPs that maybe will be at finish in the next couple days. Pray for me. I get distracted easily. Okay, so the next piece that I'm going to show you is my Summer Quaker by Lila Studio. My dear stitchy friend Angela and I started this, and I'm actually planning to work on this gorgeous piece. Let's see if I can do this. Beautiful piece. Try not to take them out of the plastic because it makes such a god-awful crinkle. Hopefully you can see that okay. Just a gorgeous, gorgeous piece. But my dear friend Angela and I started this on a stitchy, it was a retreat, but not like a designer retreat or a sketch. It's a bunch of stitchy, wonderful stitchy folks who get together a couple times a year in the mountains of North Carolina and just love each other's company and stitch. And it's wonderful. And they're the nicest people in the world. And if you're one of them watching, know how much I appreciate you and love being part of your amazing group of stitchers. So anyway, this has a pretty good start for me, but I am planning to work on this. I think it's tomorrow. Let me make sure I get this right. Yeah. Tomorrow, the 17th, is my dear Angela's birthday. Since we started this together, I'd asked her if she wanted to do a new start for her birthday, but she said, no, I'd really love to work on this. So I'm going to work on this in honor of her birthday. Dun, dun, dun. So pretty. It's really amazing because we're both using the called for DMC. I am doing this on, well, let me tell you my info. This is on 32 count linen by Zweigart in antique white. I'm doing mine 2/2 with the called for DMC. I started this with Angela on 4/21 of this year. We're using the same flosses. She is doing hers, I think, over 1, I think. And I want to say it's on a 36 or a 40 count, I think. Could be totally wrong. But she's doing hers on a much more primitive fabric. And it's crazy because they look so different just because the fabric is different. Maybe sometime I can convince her to come be like a special guest and we can show them to you side by side because it's wild how different they look. And it's the same floss, but you wouldn't tell. Mine looks, hers looks more primitive and mine looks more bright and intense, but they're both stunning. And it's just incredible to me how that difference can be made. And it's a big piece and I want to see love on it. So I've sort of toyed with the idea of fitting it in, like doing the 17th of every month and kind of making it like a family piece, but for her birthday. But I don't think that'll work. I do think in the spring and summer, especially summertime, you will see this a lot more in my plans for sure. So next is Coffee Menu. This was a restart because I was dopey and I started it like dead in the middle of this massive piece of fabric. I don't know what I was thinking. So I trimmed down the fabric, and I have to look back. I think I actually changed the fabric too. I think I was doing it on like a greenish, or maybe I changed that. Y'all, I don't know. Who knows? Okay, Little House Needleworks coffee menu. Super cute. I'm a big coffee drinker. 28 count Lugana by Picture This Plus and Ancient. I'm doing it 2/2 with the called for DMC and Fancy Floss. I only got a teeny restart because I know I have all the fancy floss for this. I know I bought it. I must have pulled it for a different project, and now I got to figure out where the heck it is because I could not find it to save my soul. So this is my measly little restart, is the word mocha. Mocha. And that's what I had before, but it was on this, like, in the middle of this gigantic piece of fabric. And I'm pretty sure I switched fabric too, but I could be wrong. You never know. So this is a fun one. You'll probably see this come at some point for travel stitching maybe, or if there's holidays around coffee or things like that. So this is Sophia. This one has been woefully neglected and is lingering and really doesn't have a terrible amount left. This is by Summer House Stitchworks. I'm gonna show you that picture. Try to get the glare out of there. Focus for me, love. What if I take myself out? There you go. Now you can see it good. Really pretty. There's another one. I don't remember what it's called, with a different kind of bird, but same 3 colors, because there's only 3 colors in this, but they just look beautiful. And I have that to stitch after this one in 100 years when I finish this one. I'm doing this on a 28 cashel linen in doubloon, which I think is a Picture This Plus colorway, but I didn't write that down. 2/2 with the called for DMC. I'm sorry, this one's extra wrinkly, but this is another one that'll probably be a good travel piece. And I do not know when I started this. I just realized I didn't tell you about the coffee menu. I restarted that, I believe it was November 8th of 2023. It was World Cappuccino Day. So I thought, well, that's perfect. This one, I have no idea when I started it. It's been many years. I got distracted by all the shiny things, but it's pretty. And I mean, I have a good chunk done. I got a ways to go. I got to finish the circle and do all these leaves. And man, there's a lot more stitching in those leaves than you think. Sorry, my serger strings are hanging. But this is a good one to plug away on. And because it's only 3 colors, I keep all my DMC. I have one huge set of DMC, and I pull whatever color I need, work on it, put it back, pull the next color. With the exception of a few, like that one I've had it so long that I've had the colors in the bag forever, because it was back when I would just go to Michael's or Joann's and buy the DMC and for every project. But it's nice because I just have like extra, so I just keep it in there, easy to grab and go. This next one is My Heart. This is by Sub Rosa. I don't know that I have a cover page. I will insert a picture. Excuse me. So I don't have a very big start. I am doing this on 32 count Lugana by Picture This Plus in Earthen, 2/2. I converted mine. I'm using 3 color and cotton flosses. And I started this on April 21st of 2023. So this is my whopping start. The word always. Sorry, that wrinkle is right on the words. Always. And it's not a very big piece. Let me try to get my face out so it'll focus. There we go. Because this is way prettier than my face. You want to see that. But I'm going to use Dusty Rose. This is Cranberry and Amaryllis. Find something white to put these on. So I'll be using these 3 colors. And that's another one that's, maybe I'll fit it in for Valentine's Day somewhere or make it my travel piece or something, but it's not, excuse me, I'm sorry. It's not a huge stitch. Unlike my next piece, Rose Quaker. I love this piece. This might be my favorite piece that I'm stitching. Whoops, I lost some floss. I don't want that. No losing floss. So Rose Quaker was one that I saw and I oohed and awed over, and I convinced Angela to do it with me, and she's done. Like she normally is, and I'm just putzing along. So Rose Quaker is by, I'm sorry in advance, Stichten von Weinenberg. This person right here. I'm doing this on a 28 count mystery linen, and I wish I knew what this is because I would buy it in like a bolt. 2/2 with the called for DMC. So this is where I'm at, and I, like I said, am obsessed with this fabric. The colors look amazing on it, and I really love this piece. It's a little, it's one that, like this one and my modern folk embroidery style, I need to just put them on a scroll frame and kind of keep them on the bars so I can then just tension them when I want to stitch in it, because otherwise it just takes so long to set it up that I can, but I spend so much time prepping to stitch it that I lose so much time stitching it that sometimes I'll go to something else. So, and I had been using floss drop. This was my one go at floss drops. I don't think they're for me. I think I'm a hardcore bobbinator, but I think they look so pretty. And I'll, you know, keep these as I have them for now and just use that up. But I do not generally floss drop. I don't know if that's a verb, but I just made it one. I'm not a dropper of the floss. Okay, sorry for the crinkle. Next one is my Stitching in Me. This is by my Big Toe Designs. I am stitching this on a 28 count Mystery Murano, and I converted to Carrie's Creation threads, which are no longer being made, which is such a bummer because they're gorgeous. And I have absolutely no idea when I started this. But here is the chart. I'm not going to read the whole thing to you, but I love it. And I've got a pretty decent chunk done. This is a Murano of some sort. And it's a 28 count, but it's been dyed and it's definitely had a little shrinkage going on. But this is where I'm at. I'll tell you about the colors in just a minute. And I mean, all things considered, those words, there's a lot of words, but they stitch up, excuse me, pretty quickly. So I am using, if I can find them, some stunning colors from Carrie. And there's a few random Weeks Dye Works in here too. So the letters, the words, I should say, are all in Wildberry Breeze, which is these stunning teals, pinks, and rich, rich purple. Just so pretty. Then the border is in one of my favorite colors ever, Night Storm. It's like black and blue and purple, and it's probably not going to show up very good on here. You won't be able to see the variegation as well. Maybe a little bit. But it is Night Storm is the perfect name for it. And I have to give a shout out to Carrie. Like I said, she's not making these floss anymore. And I picked these colors after a long time after I bought these threads, and she was no longer making them. And I freaked out because I started doing my border in Night Storm and realized there's no way I'm going to have enough of this. And I forget how, but somehow I contacted Carrie, and she was kind of like selling through the last little bit of her thread. And I said, I'm desperately looking for some Night Storm. I just need one more skein. Is there any chance you have some? Because she didn't have any posted. And she sent me two. from her personal stash for free. And I was floored by that because I just thought that was so kind. And I was like, I'll pay for them. I'll pay for the shipping, whatever you need. She's like, absolutely not. How many do you need? And I said, well, I'd like to buy one, but if you have two, I'll take two just to be safe because I got a lot of stitches. So she sent me two, and I mean, this was years ago, but it was so thoughtful. So thoughtful. And then I was playing around with some of my other fancy floss. There's some flowers in the border. So I'm going to use these Weeks Dye Works. This is Lilac and Begonia to add some more pops of color. Pull in from the variegated Huckleberry. So those will be the colors of my flowers in the border. And then I'll use, this is Gentle Arts Green Apple. Here, let me put them on the fabric so you can see them better. So these will be my border flowers. And that's for this section down here and up the side. So it's really fun, good to stitch, pretty. Having mainly stitched now on like Lugana, Jobelin, linen, stitching on Murano feels like trying to pierce through cardstock sometimes, but that one's not terrible, so we'll see. All right, this is Forest Friends. It is by Sasha Turasheva. I'm sure I said that wrong. I apologize in advance. Let me get this to focus. Come on now, love. It's this one. And I got this on Etsy 1,000 years ago. I cannot find a color page. I don't think she's even on Etsy anymore. And I have like 4,000 documents in my Google Docs, which is where this PDF is saved, and I could not find it. So this is what it will look like, but it will be color. I only have the black and white picture. And obviously it won't say Christopher, it'll have a different name. It is being stitched on 28 count mystery fabric, 2/2 with the called for DMC, and I have no idea when I started it, but it's been a minute. It's been a very hot minute. Oh, I even have thread still on the needle. Well, let's see if we can make this a little easier, a little neater. There we go. So the colors are just adorable, and it's a nice like TV stitch, travel stitch. There's several colors, but they're just like DMC stitching blocks of color. So it's really nice when you can see the itchy nose is back. When you can just have a piece like this that I can do when I don't have the mental capacity to do a lot of counting or have the physical space to take a lot of stuff with me. It's a good piece. So I'll be working through these. I originally started it for my niece, who's now like 7. Never got around to finishing it, got distracted by other pretty things. Was gonna do it for my son, was gonna do it for my next son, decided to do the Mirabilias. So I don't know who it's for, but it'll be for somebody, and it'll be an adorable sampler. All right. Next is Quaker Sampler Quiet, Please. This is by Happy Mood Point on Etsy. I'm doing this on 32 count Belfast linen by XG Designs in smoky green gray, which I'm mildly obsessed with. And I'm doing it 2/2 in the called for DMC. Here is the black and white. You can even see my highlighting through before I knew about the Crayola crayon. I will try to find a color picture. I'm sure I have one somewhere to put in here for you. And it's just another fun, colorful stitch. And I really enjoy it. So these are all doing good. So my Festive Friday pieces, aside from Sir Thomas, are fairly small and or closer to a finish, which is part of the reason I did that. So I'm hoping or lightly planning that either in my second quarter or my third quarter plans, depending on how far I get with my Festive Friday pieces, I'm going to change that to Finish Fridays, where pieces like this, I can put a finish goal on them and I can rotate them through on Fridays until I finish them. This is my Knitters, a Knitters sampler. by October House Fiber Arts. Super cute. 32 count Murano by Zweigart in Spa. I'm doing it 2/2 using the called for DMC, with the exception that I swapped 315 for 150, solely because I couldn't find my 315 and I wanted to start it right then. So here is this super cute piece. Come on, glare, we ain't got time for you. There we go, that's a little better. All the fun knitty things. And I started this as my New Year, New Start this year, which I might have already said. This is my cute little start. It's only got 4 colors. It's like a tan, a brownish tan, a pink, and a raspberry, sort of reddish raspberry color. So right up my alley. So enjoying that. Okay, the next is beach huts. This was in timeout for a while. Not timeout, but like I parked it for a while because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with it. This is from an unknown designer and an unknown magazine. I know it was not a Just Cross Stitch. I believe it is from one of the British magazines, like Crossstitcher, or I can't even remember the other one now. But I did this a long time ago. This might actually be my oldest WIP because I cut them out. I know, I understand. I cut them out. I didn't really know any better, and they're color charts. And so I cut out, there were 7 beach hut designs. I liked 6 of them. And I had planned to stitch them on this 28 count mystery even weave that I have. I'm doing it with the called for DMC 2/2. And originally I was gonna do 3x3 or 3x2. So 2 rows of 3 of the beach huts. But then I did the first one and I was kind of like, I was stitching the cottages of the month and I had a lot of houses on the go and I was just kind of like burnt out on the houses. So the beach huts, then I wasn't sure how I wanted to stitch it, but I kind of polled the audience and you all were so helpful because what I was thinking is I want to not do this as a 3x2 grouping, but instead do them as individuals and do them as pillows. And there's plenty of room on this beautiful fabric to do that. It's not going to come through right, but it's a beautiful like lavender purple. It's going to show up kind of gray blue, and it's got little touches of pink in it. So it's really great for this color. Here's the house. Let me do this. Here's the one hut that I have done. And they're very cute and I love them. And I do I think I mentioned that I do in like after 4th of July through August, kind of I do a beachy theme. So this is the one I've already done. And I'm going to do 5 more. This one, this one, this one, this one, which I think is my favorite. Oh, sorry, it didn't focus great. Come on now. It's being cheeky this morning. And this one. So, again, I hate showing things that I can't tell you where it's from, and I especially hate it when I can't tell you who it's by. If you know, especially if you know the designer, I want to give proper credit. I got them from a magazine. I looked and scoured. I couldn't find in magazines missing pages. I couldn't find any information anywhere on what I had cut out, which is a bummer, but we'll get to that. So the next one, I'm sure you've seen this many times, is Celebrate Spring by Madame Chantilly. One of her gorgeous trays. I want to do all of them. I'm pretty much obsessed with them. The Stitchers tray I had not seen until the other day. That's going to fall into my cart closer to my birthday. So I'm doing this on a 28 count Jobelin by Crafty Kitten in the colorway Love in the Mist. So I had a Fabric of the Month subscription with Crafty Kitten because I live in the US, but I kept seeing all these amazing stitchers using these beautiful fabrics. So I think I would get it like 3 weeks after it was released because it would take so long to get to me, which was fine. But then, like, I think it was right around COVID with all the supply chain issues, they were backed up for months, and then they were like sick and couldn't, and so I had just canceled. But someday, when I work through the embarrassing amount of fabric I've accumulated, I will definitely get a subscription from them again. Really, really beautiful fabric. Soft, but sturdy. Does that make sense? Like, it's not soft because it's really loosely woven. It's just beautifully dyed. Why don't I show it to you? How about that? Duh. What am I doing over here? Like I said, it's early in the morning. I didn't sleep good. The dog had his claws in me all night. He almost legitimately pushed me all the way off the bed. My husband was snoring like a freight train. I was freezing because they both had all the covers hogged. So my brain's not totally on. I don't know if that's better or that's better. But I just have this, I'm up here in this jar. I haven't gotten to the flowers yet. I did convert the dress to purple. Full disclosure, it was because I couldn't find that blue or any blue like it at the time. I think I started this on a retreat. I started at 3/20 of 22. No, I didn't. I did not. That's not true. I started this on the spring, is it the equinox? Spring, the astrological start of spring, the equinox. Just like I started Spring Queen that I showed you on the meteorological start of the spring, which was March 1st. And you will see this in my upcoming plans, but I have all 4 of these trays, all 4 of the seasons, and I have all 4 of the seasonal queens from Mirabilia. My intent is to, this year, start them on the meteorological and astrological dates for each season. So for example, the spring ones have already started, so I'll stitch those in March on those dates. So I will stitch this on the spring equinox. Let me just do that. I'm making this way more complicated than my tired brain can handle. But then in the following seasons, I will start the tray, because this is the only season I have done, on the summer solstice, fall equinox, and winter solstice. I will start each of the corresponding trays. Same thing for the first day of spring, first day of fall, first day of winter. I will start the corresponding Mirabilias. Okay. Last whippy whip. I have one like whip adjacent I'll show you. I'll explain that in a minute. This is, oh, this is lovely. This is a wonderful piece. This is Babies Don't Keep by Stitch and Mommy, and I read the poem and it made me cry. And my little munchkins are growing up too fast. So I will insert a picture of her stitched model, which is lovely. But this is Babies Don't Keep by Stitch and Mommy. I'm doing this on a 28 count mystery even weave 2/2. I started this on April 8th of 2022. Forgive me, I'm losing my voice here. I don't have a big start, and you can see I had to frog something out because I did the letters twice because I was doing too many things at once. So I have and peekaboo, well, almost peekaboo. Very small start, but it really, I mean, that was like one thread and very little time. I would really like to get this going. Thought about doing this as one of their family pieces. It might be like my backup. If I get to a day where one of the family pieces is just not speaking to me, I might do this instead. But I love that. It's a beautiful piece. It's a beautiful sentiment. I did change my colors. Mostly because I was looking through GMC for the floss she called for, and I saw that purple and I was like, ooh. So I just felt like it. No big plan there. Is anybody surprised there's no plan? Okay, sorry about that. So let me show you my WIP adjacent. I have this on my WIP list, but I have not stitched on it yet, but I absolutely will. This is a piece that I purchased from another stitcher on one of the D-Stash groups. I honestly don't even remember. And it has all the flosses with it. This is the, okay, here's the full picture. This is the Sea to Shining Sea. This is what it will look like finished. I don't know that this is available anymore. I can't remember. But it was sold in 5 pieces. So there's the border and then, just kidding, it was sold in 6 pieces. There's the border and the 5 houses. And it comes with, I believe she's using the she started on the recommended 32 count natural raw linen from Zweigart. Crescent colors, silk threads is what's in here. And the colors are just gorgeous. So there's, I'm gonna have to sort them out, but I can certainly do that as I get to these. And this individual stitches the same as me and had started it. Stitches as far as like make their crosses the same. It is 2/2. There's even a hanging thread. But I have not stitched this, so I have it on my WIP list because it is started, but I've never stitched on it. So this is not my stitching. But look at those colors, they're so pretty. It's not showing up right. I tried to turn the ring light on or the daylight lamp, but it's so dark out that then it washed everything out. So this is better, but not by much. Let me see if I can close up to the, oh, that's nice. You can see the pretty variegation there. So this is a lovely piece. I will probably save this for patriotic type stitching when I get into 4th of July stitchy time. So those are my non-category, I'm gonna call them WIPs, but they will get love as they fit into the plan. That said, speaking of the plan, I'm gonna tell you quick about my plan starts for this quarter. In January, I started a knitter sampler. That was my New Year new start. That was planned. I also have a quilting new start planned, but I'll tell you that in the quilt video. In February, I have 2 new starts. The first, I am starting on Valentine's Day. It is for the Queen City Stitch Retreat. I'm so excited. I've never been to like an official retreat before. I'm freaking out. I'm totally freaking out. I'm trying not to, but I'm totally freaking out. I'm so excited. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So they have Autumn Lane Stitchery is their featured designer. I have seen so many pretty pieces from them, but I've never stitched Autumn Lane, so I'm excited about that. They're doing, 2 unofficial sales. Lovebirds, which is what I'm starting on Valentine's Day, and Horrid Old Hag, which is one of the the Halloween pieces. Horrid Old Hag did not speak to me quite as much. I want to stitch like 90% of what they have, but that one didn't really call to me. But I might still do it because I bought a couple other Halloween pieces thinking, well, if I don't do that one, I'll stitch an Autumn Lane Halloween piece, a different one that I like a lot. But then I started kind of thinking about like, well, what if I changed this color? What if I used fancy floss so there was variegation? So I've started kind of playing with this Horrid Old Hag piece a little bit, and I'm starting to get into it. So that may be a start, but that'll be a start later on. That'll probably be like if I start it, it'll be an at the retreat start. But I will insert a picture of Lovebirds if I haven't already. And I am going to use, again, Carrie's Creation threads, which, Carrie, I miss you. I know you don't know me, and I don't know you, but I love your threads. So I am doing it on, or I'm planning to do it on 32 count Belfast linen from Picture This Plus in the colorway Lock. And it is so beautiful. And I'm using Carrie's Creations Love Always threads. Okay, that is not, well, that's kind of showing up. Okay, it's got a little bit more of a tealy depth to it. That's a little bit closer. And I was going through thinking I'd do, I don't know, like a tan or a gray. And I threw the floss down on this on top of a different pile of like rejected fabric. And I went, whoa. And I just love the way that looked. And this Carrie's Creation thread is like corals and reds and light pinks. It's just gorgeous. I'll see if I can get it to focus on the thread. So pretty. So I'm very excited to do that. I need to get a bag for that. And the next start I'm doing is, so it's my quilting group, but my friend Angela, who's my stitchy buddy, is in that group. We meet on Thursdays, and Valentine's Day's on a Wednesday, but the Thursday after, she asked me if I wanted to do love boats with her, and I was like, yeah, and I've actually bought the thread pack, I don't know, whenever they released this, many moons ago, but that is the Love Boat Sampler by Ardith Design. Let's see. Come on, focus for me, babe. Boy, my phone needs coffee this morning. There we go. Now you can see it better in all its glory. Beautiful sampler. I bought, like I said, the thread pack, which just, I want to just pet it all. It's all color and cotton, I think. Let me make sure I'm not fibbing. Yeah, it's all color and cotton. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful threads. And I did not buy fabric. I didn't buy like a kit with fabric. I bought their thread pack. But I had picked out, or have picked out, 32 count linen in the colorway Looking Glass by Under the Sea Fabrics. Now this fabric is gorgeous. The floss is gorgeous. The pattern is gorgeous. I'm kind of second guessing myself a little bit on the fabric. So I thought, well, it's kind of like Stormy, but it's purple with this like medium gray. And I thought it would be lovely. And it might be. But I'm second guessing a little. So I know it's never quite the same on a floss tube. This is a little bit more purpley. But you tell me, do I stick with what I've got? Or do I try again with my fabric? I love this fabric. I will use the fabric. But is this the pattern for it? I'll shake out my colors a little bit more for you to see. I think it would be pretty, but could it be prettier on something else? Let me show you I'm running out of hands here, but I'll try to hold it all up. So please comment below. Tell me if you think I should stick with this fabric or I should pick a new one, because I'm torn. I'm very torn. So those are my planned new starts for February. I'm also taking a quilt class, maybe 2. I don't even remember, but I'll cover those in the quilting segment. And then in March, as of right now, I do not have any new starts planned for cross stitch. I have 1 or 2 quilting starts. I will do first day of spring. I'll do Spring Queen, and the spring equinox, I will do Celebrate Spring tray. But I will update in my future WIP parades, in my future floss tubes. I'll tell you, like, here's what I did this week, and then here's what I'm trying to do next week. I'm hoping, it's a lot of work to prep these videos, way more than I expected, and even more work to edit the videos, but I'm getting better at both of those things. I actually think it's going to be easier for me to be more consistent with more frequent updates, trying to do it like every week, because I won't be so overwhelmed with so many things to show, and because I am multi-craftual, I think it'll be easier for me to keep track. So hypothetically, I'm going to try for every week. I can't promise it'll be the same day every week. Let's not get carried away, but we're going to try. That said, I will have some knitting new starts throughout these months, but I'll tell you about that in the knitting video. So I think that's it as far as my cross-stitch plans, my cross-stitch WIPs. We've looked at all the WIPs. We've looked at the planned new starts for this quarter. Thank you for sticking with me. I know this got really long. I didn't realize how much stuff I had, but we both know I'm long-winded as well. So I appreciate you, and thanks for sticking with me. And if you haven't subscribed, I'd love it if you did subscribe if you enjoyed this content. And if you have a channel, help me out and tell me what your channel name is below. Because I have a personal YouTube, and that's where I like subscribe and I make my comments, and then I wanted to do this and I made a new channel because I don't know how you do like multiple channels under one account. So it looks like I have no subscriptions and I'm not commenting on anything because I do it all on my personal one. So I'm trying to like also get all my subscriptions and help, you know, convert to this account. Anyway, so let me know if you've got a channel. I would love to follow you and I'd love to watch. And if you're not already checking out Red Cross Stitcher, my dear friend Beth, stop what you're doing. Go watch Beth. She's delightful. You need to watch Beth. She's one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. Okay, happy stitching, my stitchy soulmates. I will talk to you later. Bye.